Hey everyone, welcome to a little mini version of the Raider News Roundtable. I'm here with JJ Kieran and, of course, our boy Ferdinand in the background. And we are here today to talk about WandaVision Episode 9, the series finale, and sort of the series as a whole. We all have, varying opinions. It's a little bit of a divisive finale, but we're gonna talk it out. So, who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'll just start off by saying I loved it. I felt the way it wrapped up was fantastic. Yes, no Doctor Strange appearance, no Mr. Fantastic, no Mephisto, but it is what it is. I'm glad that though the song said it was Agatha all along, it wasn't. That was a lie. It was Wanda all along, and I felt like that was fantastic. They're really setting her up to be a very dynamic and layered character. When in her appearances in Age of Ultron and then Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, her character was a bit boring. I felt like they didn't really do much with her, didn't really flesh her out. So this show definitely did a great job of making her a more dynamic character, and I definitely think they're setting her up to be kind of not exactly a hero. I think it would be cool if she sort of takes on the role of a villain, because she did hold a whole town hostage, just to play dress up with her dead husband and fake kids. Yeah, so I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic finale.
Kieran?
All right. Well, my opinion on WandaVision. I mean, there are obviously some good parts, but overall, I wasn't a huge fan. I don't know. I didn't really like the idea of I don't know. I guess the sitcom stuff they were doing. I guess it was kind of cool, but I'm not the biggest sitcom fan. I guess. I didn't really like Agatha. I don't know. I felt like she didn't have I don't know, the motivation a villain should have. I felt like she was just kind of power hungry villain. And I like a villain that has a little bit more of a motive or reasoning behind what they're doing rather than just straight power and greed.
And that's why Wanda's the villain.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying, Kieran, but I think a lot of the reason that people like Agatha, all right, her character isn't the best, but Catherine Hahn plays it so well. Literally for whatever reason, it's reviewable on Letterboxd, and I write little reviews, and up until the big Agatha reveal, literally half of my reviews are just not enough Catherine Hahn, because I think she was the best part of WandaVision, personally, her and Elizabeth Olsen, because she just played the role so unbelievably well, and she really committed. And I do kind of like the idea of what happened with her in the finale, and we'll get into spoilers a little bit later, but I just really think it worked. Yeah, sure, her motivations weren't the best, but I still enjoyed her. And overall, I really enjoyed the series. I am a sucker for all the old sitcom tropes. So that first few span of weeks when it was all the different eras, I loved that. And also,
I just ate that up.
I also kind of like how they sort of gave screen time to that B team of sword agents. You got Darcy, you got Monica, and of course you got the one, the only Jimmy Woo.
Jimmy Woo.
That was so cool. And those three, those three characters just played off each other so well. I loved it, man. I felt the whole there was a few there were a few moments that roll your eyes and weren't that great, but I really enjoyed it as a whole, and I think it's easily the most unique thing that the MCU has ever done.
Yeah, I do appreciate its uniqueness. And like JJ did mention, I did like to see Wanda just change as a character, realizing what she's done is wrong and kind of I guess atoning for what she's done. I do think the next season, because they're releasing the next season, right?
No, they're not.
No, and I don't think they should.
Wait, that's it?
Yeah, but they're setting it up for Wanda's gonna appear in Doctor
Strange too.
That was the big setup for it.
Okay. Well, either way, I think her character moving forward, I don't know. I feel like she's kind of grown on me through the series, and I think that she has a lot of potential going forward.
Yeah, definitely, and that's why she's going to be in these like future projects, which I think is really cool. I feel like we all kind of hit on this with well, maybe not as much Ben, but Kieran and I feel like Kieran and I would agree on this. The show didn't need that sort of like big bad reveal with the Agatha twist. As much as I loved it and I loved her performance, the show didn't really need like a villain. But I don't, just because of like that's how they like the story was Wanda and her going through like grieving the death of her husband and being a villain.
I agree. I definitely agree with what you're saying, JJ. I thought it was kind of like, in a way, it was sort of like, you can really have, like, they needed Agatha in a way to kind of like take Wanda through her whole, like, this is your life in the 8th episode. And while I thought that was a great episode, I do get what you're saying, that it didn't really need like a big villain. And it's sort of like towards the end, especially after they stopped with the sitcom homages, it really did start falling into like those Marvel tropes that everyone kind of knows. And like, I'm not upset with that because I do like some of those tropes. Like, I just feel like having Wanda as both like this anti-hero character, like she's the one who's controlling everyone, but yet we feel for her going through all of this grief that she suffered. I feel like that creates such an interesting dynamic, and I feel like that was kind of offset again. For as much as I loved it, that was kind of offset by the Agatha reveal.
Yeah, and it's like it's the saying like every villain is the hero of their own story. So it's like for a while, Wanda felt like didn't really see anything wrong with what she was doing because she didn't like process it. But then I feel like what sets Wanda apart from just like your typical villain type character is like she realized what she was doing was wrong. And most of the times when a villain realizes that what they're doing is wrong, they'll keep doing it. And that's what shows that they're a bad person. But she realized what she was doing was wrong, and then she was just in shock and she didn't know what to do. So I felt like that was a very good direction to take it, to sort of set her up with villainous tendencies, but not make her like a full-fledged big bad.
Mm-hmm. Should we get into more like spoilery?
Yeah.
All right, so again, this is a warning.
We're just gonna put a spoiler warning before this segment, just in general.
But like,
if somehow you made it this far,
here are the spoilers. If you have not seen WandaVision, what the hell are you doing? Steal someone's Disney Plus right now and get on that.
I will give it to you. If you need to watch it, give me up. I will give you my Disney Plus password.
Go to JJ on Instagram at MusicByTello, and he will give you his Disney Plus login.
I will give you my Disney Plus.
All right, but this is your official final spoiler warning before we spill out everything about WandaVision. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, here we go. I did not like what they did with Evan Peters. Just gonna say it.
I thought it was hilarious.
I was upset. Like, okay, so my whole thing is I never really got into the whole theorizing aspect of the show. Like, everyone had their own idea. Like, here comes Mephisto, or the aerospace engineer is going to be Reed Richards. And I'm sitting here like, this is WandaVision, not the Marvel show. Like, let these two characters, kind of like enjoy. Like, I was all for these two characters, like having their own adventure, because they're not really talked about all that much among the overall Avengers. But I don't know, man. I get why it's funny, and yeah, it's a little funny, but I was really let down by the Evan Peters reveal. I just can't say the word live because this is going out to the entire school, but like, I felt like they could have done something there, and like maybe set him up to like bring him back, but I just thought that was a bit of a stupid idea, and yet we never see him again after that moment. Like, that's it.
Yeah, okay. My thing is like, I loved it because I thought it was hilarious. But like, they didn't have to cast Evan Peters for that.
Really?
And because of WandaVision, that's why, even going by your logic, it's the Wanda and Vision show. Quicksilver makes sense to be in the Wanda and Vision show. It's her literal brother.
And you literally put like such a nice Easter egg in there, like with Darcy being like, "Oh wait, she recast Pietro." Like,
for the people who didn't know.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like, everyone sees Evan Peters, especially in a show like this, as Quicksilver from the old Fox X-Men movies, and you cast him for this. That just feels like a kick in the face, you know?
Yeah. I'm a bit disappointed that when why do I forget which I feel like a fake fan because Billy and Tommy are like my favorite characters. But I always forget
Billy and Tommy shout out.
I always forget which one is whichever one is Speed.
That's Tommy.
I think it's Tommy, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I wish they did like a X-Men Quicksilver type scene with him when he was going around with this. Imagine like
in the finale.
The running scene
that would have been awesome.
In slow mo and he does all the funny things. Imagine if they did that with him messing with the sword agents. And then like they would be grabbing the hat and the sunglasses and then just like chilling.
That would have been great.
But yeah, no, but Billy and Tommy were probably my favorite characters. I thought they were super funny. I love that they're setting up Young Avengers and, you know, post-credit scene, they're coming back 100%. Doctor Strange 2, Wanda's going to get them back. So I thought that was cool. Kieran, do you have any like
favorite characters
that like stood out good or bad in that finale?
I was just about to say something. I forget what I was going to say. It was on the tip of my tongue. And then you said something about Tommy. And I was like, I was thinking about the scene of them running in slow-mo. And I lost my thought.
Those are the coolest scenes in those X-Men movies.
Yeah, no, that so cool. I remember seeing that because I think I saw like Apocalypse in IMAX, and I remember watching. I don't know if that was that scene in Apocalypse, but I just remember seeing the Quicksilver scene running at some point. I'm just like, damn. Dude.
Yeah, they did them. I know they did one in Days of Future Past. That one was really cool. And I think they did one in
the one where they were in like I think it was like a bank or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was X-Men Apocalypse. Let's go.
Yeah, there was one because they did it twice. There was one in Days of Future Past and one in Apocalypse. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think I ever got around to watching the other one. Apocalypse.
Apocalypse wasn't that good.
No one liked Apocalypse.
But Days of Future Past is fantastic. If you're looking for some fun X-Men story, there you go.
This is not about X-Men. This is about WandaVision. I was also going to say how I kind of love where Wanda left Agatha, like kind of like trapped in this sitcom world. You could like see in her face that smile when she's like complimenting Wanda. Well, first of all, same, I get it. Second of all, like I really love that. I want to see her come back in that form. Like I want to see some sort of like if they do Young Avengers, I would not hate an Agatha Harkness film. Like I love the place they left her in, mainly because Catherine Hahn was born to play that type of character, and I think that like they definitely have to bring her back.
Yeah, they left it in a like that's why they didn't kill her off.
Yeah,
they can go back to Agatha whenever they want. Like say like Wanda is like learning more about magic and she like wants to know more. My guess is she has like rooms set up around the house. Like that's probably the logic behind it. So she'll just roll up and be like, "Hey, tell me your secrets," and then that can just work.
Just pin her against the wall.
Yeah, I think JJ does have a good point, but I think it's going to be a little bit more, I guess, complicated to that. Maybe she'll actually end up having to free her and use her help to take down a certain enemy or something like that. A little something more in depth that kind of conflicts with what she's done in her little virtual reality world, I guess.
Yeah, that would be sick. I never thought about that. That would be really cool. I loved when the two visions were together. They were fighting, and then into the ship of Theseus. I'm currently in philosophy. Shout out, Mr. Valentine. Great class if anyone's looking for a social studies elective for junior/senior. It's mostly senior. It's a great class to take senior year. So much fun. That was one of the first things we talked about. Like week 2, we were talking about Ship of Theseus. And that's kind of, I always love thinking about that. And then like they said Ship of Theseus. I'm like, oh, I know that.
I get that. It's the Rick Dalton pointing meme. Like,
yeah, no, I was Leonardo DiCaprio. But yeah, I thought that was such a clever way because you have two visions. Like, yes, they are physically strong beings, but they are like he's built from the Mind Stone. His thing is thinking. So it's like you get them in a room and have them have a philosophical debate, and then it ends with like unlocking the memories. And homie's like overwhelmed. He's like, I gotta dip, and then he just like
I gotta go.
So yeah, again, more setup. We'll probably see that version of Vision back in a future movie. So love Paul Bettany, so I'm all about that.
What you guys think of Darcy Lewis's one line in the finale?
Okay. In the Thor movies, Darcy was so annoying to me. Didn't like her at all in the Thor movies. I even rewatched
She is the poor man's Kristen Shaw. Kat
Yeah,
Dennings is the
I
poor man's Kristen Shaw.
rewatched them when she got introduced in WandaVision because I'm like, oh, I forgot about her all this time.
Yeah. Now that you say Thor, I totally forgot what movie she was from until you said that. I was like, this girl is so familiar. I know she's been in a movie. I just couldn't put my finger on what
Imagine
movie.
having watched the Thor movies. At least the first two, because I refuse to.
Yeah, okay. The first one isn't terrible, but it's not good. But yeah, but I did like her in WandaVision up until she, got super underused.
Yeah.
But okay. And speaking of her crashing the car, Hayward was such a bad villain.
I hate that man. But like, yeah.
He was just he shot children. he just like let out a whole clip on like on 2 kids. He was like bang bang bang.
To me, like he's sort of like every stereotypical like 80s and 90s military villain who thinks like death and murder is the only option.
But again, he didn't need to be super well written. He really didn't matter.
They really just needed an enemy for Jimmy, Darcy, and Monica.
Yeah, and he worked in that sense. We got to see Jimmy Woo just be an absolute monster, absolute
legend.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for the Woo Files.
The Woo Files. I actually want
to put it into existence. The Woo Files is gonna happen. Yeah, he was also him and the twins were my favorite characters.
I think Jimmy and Agatha were my favorite characters personally.
Yeah, for as much as people, I guess I wouldn't say clown him, but as much as people like make jokes about it, like I actually genuinely liked his character in the show.
Right?
I thought he was very entertaining to watch.
Close Up Magic Academy, that's character development.
Because like Randall Park, great actor, middle school, fresh off the boat. That was my show. Could I relate to it? Slightly. They went through some things where I was like, oh yes, as young Asian men, I go through that. But then it was also the 90s and they were immigrants. So it's like, could I really relate? Not really. But I still loved the show. And ever since then, I've loved Randall Park. And he's like in everything. Like you see that with like those Get Jimmy Woo memes. He's literally everywhere. So yeah, absolute beast, absolute legend. So yeah, I say he was definitely a highlight of the show for me.
Definitely. And then I guess final question here is, what do you guys think about Falcon and Winter Soldier? Switching topics.
All right. So I'm super excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Although I think Bucky should have got the shield, and I'll stand by that for forever.
I love how we're all in agreement on that.
Yep.
No argument here. I do think Falcon does have potential. Obviously, I think he's kind of a underrated character in the MCU. I'd say. I don't know. I just feel like people just overlook him because I guess his powers are simple, kind of like bootleg Iron Man. Some people might say.
Yeah, bootleg Iron Man.
His suit. Iron Man is not a power.
But his abilities, how about that?
Yeah.
Are kind of
overlooked. Powers are kind of rare in the MCU.
Yeah, that's true. Like, who has legitimate, like, super Thor, technically?
Yeah, but most of them are like, but like most of them are like, they're not natural. Most of them are like something happens to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm sorry I cut you off. You can keep going.
Yeah, I'm just super excited. I hope, I don't want to be that guy, but hopefully there's a little bit more action and suspense than WandaVision. Hopefully a couple plot twists. I'm excited.
I feel like that's what they're setting up. Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's gonna feel a lot more. I don't want to say Marvel-y, but it's gonna feel more like the movies, definitely. But if anything, it's gonna feel like the best Marvel movie Captain America: The Winter Soldier, because that's why I love Falcon. I love Winter Soldier because that was like the movie that they were. Well, Bucky was in Cap 1, but like in their current form, like that's where they were introduced.
That's when things got crazy.
Yeah. So I'm also, Kieran, I'm right with you. Super excited. I'm super excited for like the more actiony side of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
In that trailer we did see Bucky catch the shield. So it's like I feel like they're gonna kind of work together and realize that the burden of Captain America is something they have to like share. Because like Steve Rogers was such like an idealistic person. He was so perfect for the super soldier serum. Neither of them are that. And they kind of have to like realize that and work together and realize that together they can fill the void that Steve left. And I feel like that's going to be cool, seeing them come to that. And sort of, I'm excited to see an action scene where they're like throwing the shield between each other.
I was going to make a joke about that. Yeah.
Civil War, how like Cap throws it to Bucky and then like hits Iron Man. I'm excited to see some more of that, but with Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming to Disney Plus.
So the funny thing is, and I think I'm the only person in this call that thinks that, but I'm not that hyped for Falcon Winter Soldier. I'm excited, yeah, but like I'm not as hyped as I was for WandaVision. I was so excited for WandaVision because like I kind of really enjoyed the slower pace to start off phase 4. Like I feel like that was a necessary thing. And like to me, like I'm going into a career in TV, like I adore the sitcom homages because like
yeah,
I don't know why it's like a boost of serotonin, you know? Like I really enjoyed seeing like all these sitcom tropes not only played out like with familiar characters, but now like everyone knows about. Like I don't feel like I'm the only one who like understands like the tropes of 50s and 60s sitcoms. I'm definitely excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier because I love those two central characters. I think they're great. But like to me, I just feel like WandaVision, even though it wasn't perfect, it still had it had amazing visuals. It had such like a compelling story, and while it may have fallen like the slightest bit flat towards the end, I still think it was such a really compelling mystery. And I'm kind of not ready to go back to like the old typical like MCU. I guess they kind of like eased you into that in the last two
last episode.
But like I don't know, man. I would love to see something else like WandaVision because I just don't think there's been anything else like it. And if I don't want a second season because I feel like that is now just like an open and shut story.
Loki might kind of act as that other next more conceptual, less Marvel-y show. It has the potential to do that. No guarantee. Yeah. But I'm excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier because my hope is that it's more grounded.
That's going
to be cool. Just seeing like some proper like hand-to-hand combat action. Well, because like yes, the final fight was cool with like Wanda intentionally missing the shots and like making the rune around her. I thought that was kind of sick, but like I'm excited to see some more like well choreographed fight scenes because I feel like that's super underrated in
I guess that.
In these action comic book movies. But I do get what you're saying, where it was so nice just getting a different type of story in the Marvel universe because I feel like we are the generation that like grew up with this. It's like, yeah, like Iron Man 1 came out when we were like 5 or 6, but still it was like we grew up and like the first like PG-13 movies we watched were like Marvel movies. And like that was kind of our introduction to these superheroes. That and like maybe like the Raimi Spider-Man movies and the X-Men movies. But I feel this is just a really important part of our generation, and I'm glad it's kind of like it's evolving more. And it has been since phase 1, and now we're in phase 4. It's like they're willing to be ambitious, and we are at the point where we can appreciate that. And I think that's really cool.
All right. Kieran, you have any other final thoughts?
No.
Okay. Well, all right. That is going to be it from us here at the Great News Roundtable. Of course, shout out Jimmy Woo. There are any topics you guys want us to cover? Reach out to us on Instagram at SPF Raider News. And if you haven't watched WandaVision, then reach out again to JJ at Music by Tello.
I will give you my login. I had a profile on my Disney Plus with a picture of Grogu that says "Absolute Cutie." That is our guest account. So if anyone wants to watch something, go on that profile, watch whatever the heck you want. Just hit me up.
There you go. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Good work.
Nice work, guys. Now I have to join class, so I got to go.
Yeah.
Later.
See you, man.